Assalamu alaikum, family. This is Ryan X coming to live. Hope you all are having a blessed, wonderful day. Hope everything is going well for you. Today is Tuesday. This is the day that Allah has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is yet another day that we haven't seen before. Um, Day that we have a chance to do things better than we did the previous day. So I know it's an afternoon wherever you may be tuned in from. What kind of early evening? It's afternoon here out west. But I hope that you all had a blessed and wonderful day. Hope you had a blessed and wonderful weekend and blessed and wonderful yesterday. And in the likelihood that you're having one of those days, always remember this: tough times don't last. Tough people do. Keep your hope, trust, and faith in Allah, God, and He will see you through. I could definitely bear witness to that. So Saturday, Saturday evening in Southport, North Carolina, that's on the North Carolina coast, a terrorist skunk committed a sell-by shooting. You heard right, a sell-by shooting. He shot from a boat. He shot into a restaurant that was off of this river. Um, it wasn't too far from Cape Fear in that area. I know many of us are old enough to remember the movie Cape Fear with Nick Nolte and Robert De Niro. Great movie, horror film. Well, it was a horror thriller. It was a thriller, murder suspense thriller. Great movie, but it was in that area, Southport, North Carolina, so it's on the coast. But never. But anyway, this terrorist skunk from a boat fired shots, killing three people, injuring five, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was five. And then he sailed away. He literally sailed away after he committed this heinous act. Authorities found him and they arrested him. They took him alive. He was a Marine and he was awarded the Purple Heart. That was on Saturday night. On Sunday morning in Grand Blanc, Michigan, which is a suburb of Flint, about Grand Blanc is about an hour, a little more than an hour north of Detroit, my hometown. A terrorist skunk rammed his pickup truck into a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints church, a Mormon church. Not only did he do that, he set the sanctuary on fire. Not only did he do that, but he opened fire and killed four people, injuring eight. That's right. This terrorist skunk rammed his truck into the sanctuary, set it on fire, and then started shooting, killing four people, injuring eight. The police responded quick. They responded like rapidly, and they took this terrorist skunk out. It was a shootout in the parking lot, and they took him out. Right on. I'm glad that they did their job, and they took him out. They sent him to his maker. So that was good. But in total, seven people lost their lives and 13 were injured in two terrorist attacks in a matter of um, 12 hours, not even a full day. Yet again, this proves that, oh, before I get into that, that terrorist skunk was a former Marine, if I'm not mistaken. He was prior military. And before I go any further, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications whenever I do videos on here. So you had two former military members, two former military veterans committing terrorist attacks on this soil here. Timothy McVeigh, we remember 30 years ago, he blew up the McNamara building in Oklahoma City. What, he killed what, close to 170 people, 168, wounded thousands of others, and killed little children. He was an army. He was a army vet. But these two devils, terrorist skunks, so I think they were both were Marine Corps vets. The terrorist skunk in Michigan said that he had a hatred for Mormons, that they were taking over the country or whatever his manifesto was, um, and he wanted to take him out. So this goes to show you that the white male is the face of terrorism here in the United States. Not only here in the United States, but around the world. It's been that way for hundreds of thousands of years. They have been the face of terror. You cannot deny it. But Trump wants to send federal troops into major cities because he want to go after he want to go after black people, particularly young black men, because let the most effective devil in America tell it, the media, most effective devil in America tell it, we are the face of terrorism. We are the face of terror. But that's not the case. Have we done things, murdered each other? Yes. And we have done terrorist acts to each other. I'm not gonna, but as a whole, mass shootings, mass killings, that's the white male, where you kill hundreds of thousands of people. We don't commit those type of murders. I'm not saying that one murder is better than another murder. Murder is murder. But when you talk about on mass numbers, in record numbers, a mass amount of people, oh, that's the white male all day, every day. That's not us. But they taught us how to be terrorists. They taught us how to be pimps, how to be dope pushers, how to be deadbeat fathers. All of these things are foreign to us, but they're the OGs of it. They're the originators of it. And this isn't hate. This isn't hate speech. This is the truth speech. History has proven it time and time again. They have taught us how to be degenerates. So we're not the gangbangers. They're the original gangbangers. We're amateurs. They're the originators, the OGs of this. And this is yet another example of that. This is the second time I think this month that there was a church shooting in Michigan. I think there was one earlier this month outside of Detroit, in the suburb of Detroit. Forgot what town. But it's like every time you turn on the news, every week, there's another terrorist skunk committing an act of terror. Am I right or am I absolutely right? Every damn week. Hey, what's good, brother? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. How you doing, God? But it's like every damn week, it's a mass, it's a mass murder by these terrorist skunks. Never fails. But Trump wants to send federal troops into the major cities. But he's not doing a damn thing about these white males killing. They're not killing us, they're killing other white people. And we know that their crusader who was murdered 3 weeks ago, y'all know it, y'all know who I'm talking about. The crusader on the right wing activist, that crusader, he said that black people are murdering white people in mass numbers, and FBI statistics can prove it. Well, survey says he was dead ass wrong because the person who murdered him was a white person, if I'm not mistaken. And the people committing these mass murders are white men. So how the hell is it us? But they always want to paint us as the boogeyman. Always want to use us as a scapegoat. It's always been that way. Nothing new. Nothing new at all. I know today that the Secretary of War, they changed it from the Department of Defense to the Department of War. That tells you what their what agenda they're trying to push, what they're going after. They want to start a war. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan mentioned this decades ago, going back to the 80s. They want to declare war. They want to start a war in the Middle East, and they want to declare a war on the minister and the Nation of Islam, and also on black people, particularly young black men, black youth. The Department of War. The Department of War Secretary Pete Hegseth summoned the military brass from around the world, not just here in the States, but generals and admirals around the world to come to Quantico, Virginia for a meeting. What are they meeting about, you may wonder? I could take a gander. They want to declare a war in the Middle East. They want to start a war over there. They want to start a war against black people here in the United States, particularly young black men. And they want to declare war on the Nation of Islam and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I honestly believe that. That's why they were meeting. It's of no coincidence that Trump is sending federal troops into these cities. Hegseth is calling this meeting with all the generals from around the world for a meeting that's going to last a few hours, a couple hours, however hell long it lasts. They want to declare a war here in the United States on us. We already have ICE going after people. There was an ICE shooting in Dallas last week. So all of this is tied in. It's of no coincidence. So we got to be watchful. What it says in the Bible, be watchful and pray. We have to be watchful and prayerful as well. Because we cannot fall asleep in this hour. We are behind enemy lines. And the Supreme Captain, Mustafa Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's son, told us at Savior's Day this year, back in February, that we have to be strong in our Islam because our faith in our Islam will be tested. He said it will be tested before this year is out. And I may be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Hegseth summoning all these generals and admirals to Quantico, Virginia to meet. And then Trump was supposed to come to the meeting. It was today, I believe. I believe they met this morning, so they probably already met as of the time of this video. But it's of no coincidence. Why are you having this meeting? They have plans for us. And for us, I mean black males, young black males in particular. The Nation of Islam. They have plans for us. And they want to start a war in the Middle East. And the country they want to start a war with is Iran. They already had one with Iraq. They already bombed Syria. They already bombed Libya, and they made it into a slave colony when they killed our brother, our dear brother, Muammar Gaddafi. Um, so Iran, they already started winning Afghanistan. So Iran is a terrorist nation. It's the great evil. So Iran is next up. They want to start a war with Iran. It would not surprise me if that is why Hegseth has met with all the military brass from around the world. U.S. military, that is. It would not surprise me. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said decades ago, you could never fathom the mind of Satan. You couldn't. So, and again, when Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan went up in the wheel in 85, when he had that vision, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad revealed to him. Now, mind you, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad departed from us in 1975. Minister Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, had this vision in 1985 while he was in Mexico. 10 years after the messenger's departure, he had a vision, and the messenger told him that Ronald Reagan and his Joint Chiefs of Staff was planning a war in the Middle East. They were planning a war against the Minister Farrakhan, and the Nation of Islam, and that they were planning a war against black people, particularly young black males. This was in 1985. Y'all, I don't know, y'all out there who may be listening, if y'all old enough to remember, if y'all were born yet. But the war on drugs was a war on black people, particularly young black males. Because every night on the news in the mid to late 80s, you saw black men with their hands like this with their hands behind their back on their knees with guns pointing to their head because the cops had raided their house. Helicopters were circling over the neighborhood. This was going on. They were showing this every night on the news, and Mr. and Mrs. Joe and Susie White person could look at the TV and point and say, "You see that, honey? You see that, honey? That's the face of terror. These niggers here, that they're scary. This is our boogeyman. This is the face of terror in this nation." Right on. That's what was going on in 1980s. In every major city across this country, it didn't matter if it was in LA, Houston, Atlanta, DC, Baltimore, Philly, Chicago, Detroit, New York. It did not matter. Miami, all in around this country, every major city, particularly the predominantly black neighborhoods. The Reagan administration put crack into the black communities, and they gave the cops excuse to come in and declare war on us. Am I right or am I absolutely right? Meanwhile, they were playing both sides in the war, well, particularly one side in a war with Iraq and Iran. You can never fathom the mind of Satan. George H.W. Bush, followed behind Reagan. That was his vice president. George H.W. Bush was head of the CIA in the 70s. He continued the war on drugs, the war on black people. After his administration left, came Bill Clinton, the first black president that many Negroes claimed he was. How foolish y'all were for saying that. What did this devil do? He built more prisons than any president in U.S. history. Also during this time, y'all, Joe Biden, wrote that 1994 crime bill, sending thousands upon thousands of young black men and young black women to the gulags for giving them the minimum mandatory, the mandatory minimum, yeah, for drug possession. A little small rock, 25 years life, destroying our communities. But, and the Congressional Black Caucus backed this law. They backed this legislation. They did. The late John Lewis backed it. I'm keeping 1,000 with y'all. So then, George W. Bush come in, the son of George H.W. Bush. He becomes president and he declares war on Iraq and Afghanistan. So now we had a war on terror, and he creates the Department of Homeland Security, which was an excuse to spy on Americans. It was an excuse to spy on Americans. 9/11 was orchestrated. It was orchestrated. They painted Osama bin Laden as a boogeyman for them to have the excuse to declare war on Islam and on Muslims around the world, including here in the United States. These are facts I'm telling y'all. You can never fathom the mind of Satan. After George W. Bush, Barack Obama, the actual first black president, continued the war uh, in Afghanistan. He ended the Iraq war, good for him, but he continued the war in Afghanistan. He um, kills Osama bin Laden, but under his watch, he allowed his Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, sorry, excuse me, to go and murder our brother senselessly, the late great Muammar Gaddafi, because Muammar Gaddafi gave the West both middle fingers, and they murdered this man. We came, we saw, we killed, or whatever the hell she said, and laughed about it. They declared a war on that man, on that black man. And Obama bombed more African nations than any president in U.S. history. Look that up. They declared a war on Islam too. Oh, and in his second term, the police declared war on us because every time you turned around after his second term, black people, men and women, were getting murdered left and right by the police. Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling. What's the sister name? Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray. Left and right. Every time you turned on the TV, another black man was getting shot and killed. So, and then you had Trump come in the first time around, and the murders of black people continued. And he bombed Syria. Bombed Syria. Sure did. And black people were still getting murdered left and right by the police. Oh, and by the way, Trump made statements about black athletes taking a knee following the lead of Colin Kaepernick, saying that he will fire those SOBs need to be fired. Trump gets out of office. You have Joe Biden, y'all Uncle Joe. Instead of him defunding the police, which is what he ran on, he gave the police more money. Yes, he ended the war in Afghanistan. He ended it, but that was a sloppy ending. It was amateur night. It was just as bad as the fall of Saigon. But he gave police more funding to declare war on us. Joe Biden did. Joe Biden did. Yes, he did. Now we have Trump again the second time around, and Trump has his Secretary of War has met with all the generals and admirals from not only here in the United States but from around the world to meet in Quantico, Virginia. And he sent federal troops into U.S. cities. So you see that I broke down 40 years from Reagan to Trump, both Republican presidents and Democrat presidents. It doesn't matter. I don't know why black people seem to think that the Democrats love us so much. No, they're devils too, just like the Republicans. So I just gave y'all a breakdown of each presidency over the last 40 years and their plan and how they declared war on us and on Islam. But yet and still, you have white men committing mass murders. This terrorist skunk in North Carolina killed 3 people, injured 5. A sell-by shooting. A sell-by shooting. On a boat. Shot into a restaurant. Sunday morning. People worshiping at a church. Pickup truck comes ramming through the sanctuary. This terrorist skunk sets the sanctuary on fire and then shoots in the sanctuary. Opens fire, killing 4 people, injuring 8. Thankfully, the cops took him out. So, but meanwhile, we're the boogeyman. All this is going on, but they want you to pay attention to us. We're not the ones committing these mass murders. No, we're not the boogeyman. But the media and the Trump administration will have you think that we are. All these terrorist attacks committed by white males, they had a complexion for the protection. They do. But yet, you don't hear white people calling. One thing about white people, they will protect their own. Even though their own take them out, well, he had mental illness. We don't know. He suffered from PTSD. They won't call each other out. They will not. The white man has killed his own kind for thousands of years. Has made them into, even in Europe, he enslaved his own. He did. Declared war on his own. Maimed his own. Did all sorts of things to his own people. But yet, they want to call us the savages and make us the face of terror. The devil is a lie today, yesterday, and forevermore. I would not subscribe to that. Yes, we have lost our way. We understand that. We have to clean up our act. But as a whole, we are not the most violent people on this planet. That's just not true. That we're the most violent. We're not. We're not. And that's facts. But needless to say, my condolences goes out to the people, to those who lost loved ones in that terrorist attack in North Carolina and in Grand Blanc, Michigan. I'm sorry that you're going through this. It's senseless, and you know we just gotta be on alert. More churches need to hire security, armed security. I don't know, at the mosque, you can't come up in there with a weapon. We gonna search you. We tell you flat out that you're subject to search procedures. If you have something on you, take it back to your car and then come back. But by no means can you bring a weapon into the mosque. No, no, no. We will search you. And that's what they need to do at these churches and synagogues. They need to start searching people. Because there's no way that this should have happened. Just senseless. But on that note, I'm gonna hop off of here. I hope I was able to get my point across. If so, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think, um, how you feel about this. Share this video. Flood the algorithm with it. Let's have the conversation because it's definitely a must. We have to have this conversation. So share this video as many times as you like and flood the algorithm with it, and let's have this conversation. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. I know there's going to be some who may disagree with what I said. That's fine and dandy, and I'm cool with that. All I ask is that we agree to disagree without being disagreeable. And in our disagreements, let's use logic, common sense, facts, and respect, not emotion and disrespect. That'll get you nowhere. So just keep that in mind. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Do the best I can. Thank you. I appreciate you. Um, Support my YouTube channel here and my future projects. I was supposed to do an interview last Friday, but I wasn't able to do it. I was extremely tired, and the person didn't get back to me. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm going to start doing interviews. So stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, support this channel here by hitting that thumbs up button, smashing that thumbs up button down, and hitting that subscribe button. And just support my channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. I thank y'all for rocking with me all these years. I don't take it for granted, and I love y'all immensely. So please continue to rock with your brother. Brothers as well as sisters, y'all be safe out here. Beware and be aware. As we saw over the weekend in Southport, North Carolina, and in Grand Blanc, Michigan, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy now more than ever before. So whether you're going to work, coming home from work, dropping your children off at school, picking them up, running errands, on vacation, at home, it don't matter where you at. Be safe, beware, and be aware. I cannot stress that enough. We cannot afford to fall asleep at this hour. So please be always on alert. Those of us in the nation, General Order number 2. You know what I'm talking about. So on that note, I'm going to hop off of here. I love y'all. Have a blessed rest of your day. I will talk to y'all sooner than later, inshallah, and take care. I'm out. Assalamu alaikum.